Curriculum relates to anything and everything that supports the student's learning. In textbook selection committees, curriculum implies the scope of the learning content and the grade level sequence in which the content will be taught. School improvement meetings, curriculum might imply that the types of competency that students should be able to master at a certain grade level. At a daily planning session, curriculum can mean that the type of teaching that the teacher uses to help students learn. Court cases, state, federal legislation, teaching and content standards developed by national professional organizations, Common Core standards, national associations, and educational research, as well as textbook publishers, determine much of what will be taught and learned in all schools and classrooms. Curriculum can be influenced at the macro level, with various interest groups such as teachers and admin organizations, political parties, and religious advocacy groups. Interest groups are formal or informal organizations of individuals who had a common interest and shared agenda in regards to a political topic or policy. Accreditation bodies can influence the curriculum through the standards they apply to all schools they accredit. Standards at these accreditation bodies set a common curriculum for all schools. School accreditation bodies require that each school to have a school improvement policy. A SIP usually is written by a school committee and the principal during the spring of each year. Community influences. Community interests and priorities are an influence on every school. The personal background of the students also influences the curriculum being taught. Items that are highly valued in the community will be integrated into school curriculum. School influences. Assumptions about learning make a significant difference in which subjects are emphasized, what is taught, and how it's taught. If a teacher truly believes that all students can learn, then they will organize and deliver in ways that support all students' learning. If a teacher in a school believes that some children cannot learn, those children are given less opportunities and more limited access to the curriculum. Available resources can also influence curriculum. If a school has instructional technology resources, teachers will tend to integrate technology in their teaching. If a school has limited technology, students will tend to rely on textbooks as the primary sources of knowledge. Those who are engaged in developing curriculum bring their own views and beliefs to the effort. People who believe that students can be trusted will press for activities that allow for student intuition and open-ended exploration, whereas curriculum developers who believe that students will make a mess and break manipulative materials will develop activities that rely more on the teacher and more structured for the students. Beliefs about student learning and effective teaching come into play. Some people believe that learning should be broken down into subparts and each of these taught separately and sequentially. What should be taught, who should decide, and how will it be taught are questions that have serious implications for learners, teachers, and society, and how schools will be run. A good place to start understanding how the curriculum of a school develops is to consider some general steps in which the design of the curriculum is made explicitly in the form of outcomes, learning objectives, teaching strategies, and assessments. Determine what needs to be learned and why. Survey parents and business leaders. Describe the desired learning outcomes. Use standards and benchmarks to write objectives. Select a specific content. Relate what is expected in the standards with the important topics in the discipline. Organize the content. Design a topic and objective sequence so that what is learned first builds towards what needs to be learned later. Select the learning activities. Identify specific lesson activities, tasks, and materials that will engage the learners and be congruent with the core idea of the discipline. Sequence the learning activities into a whole. Sequence the learning from the early grades through high school. Evaluate the effectiveness of the materials, instruction, and student learning. Collect evidence from teachers about instruction and from the students about learning outcomes. These questions will help you as a curricular committee member to recognize how the ideas of other committee members resemble or contradict your own thoughts. Subject-centered for curriculum focuses on the content disciplines, which consists of math, reading, literature, social studies, science, physical education. Primary strategy is lecture. Theme curriculum designs focus on teaching generalizations, big ideas that underlie various subjects. Big ideas could be change, cause and effect, symmetry, interactions are studied through the perspectives of different disciplines. Students might study change as it looks in chemistry or change as it looks in social science. A spiral curriculum is closely related to a themed curriculum in that it also focuses on big ideas. The main difference is that the spiral curriculum, the big idea, or cross-disciplinary concepts are taught over and over again across grade levels. Over time, the ideas are taught in an increasingly more abstract manner, and students' understanding about these big ideas deepen. A Common Core curriculum focuses on concepts and skills that are extremely important to learning and further understanding. The key idea and concepts are selected that must be mastered by all students. Once students show mastery of the core, they are permitted to investigate other related ideas. Mastery curriculum is closely related to the core curriculum design, but mastery curriculum focuses more on very specific content and skills that must be mastered in a certain way. Problem-based curriculum focuses more on authentic, contemporary problems rather than abstract ideas or skills that are under investigation in the world of work. Students are invited to tackle a problem with the intent of helping society find a solution. Standard-based curriculum designs. Standards themselves are the key component of the curriculum design. These standard statements are used directly with no intervening or organizational overlay. Should elementary and secondary schools prepare students for a career? Should they emphasize preparation for college, or should they provide separate tracks for either college or career and allow students and parents to choose? U.S. schools focus heavily on a wide array of important outcomes drawn from many different areas: academic subject matter contents, social education, physical education, vocational education, art, music, and theater. The Association for Career and Technical Education, ACTE, has called for clear distinction between career-ready and college-ready curriculum. The ACTE contends that career readiness involves three major skill areas. 1. Core academic skills and the ability to apply these skills to concrete situations in order to function in the workplace and the routine daily activities. Employable skills such as critical thinking and responsibility that are essential in career areas, and technical, job-specific skills related to specific career paths. Up until 6th grade in Germany, curriculum focuses on the 3 R's: special education and socialization. Extracurricular activities, music to sports, are responsible by the community or church or athletic association within the community. Vocational education is the primary responsibility of businesses and industry. After 6th grade in Germany, students have a choice: Hauptschule or Realschule for vocational education or apprenticeships, or Gymnasium for academic school for the development of the mind and preparation for college. Core academic subjects of language arts, science, math, and social studies. Other subjects can include world languages, physical education, and electives. Some extracurricular activities could be athletics, band, drama, choir, and after-school clubs. With budget cuts, various pieces of co-curricular activities have been targeted, such as driver's education used to be free. Now it's offered at schools, but there's usually a fee required to take it. Hidden curriculum is not readily seen. Hidden curriculum is experienced through the messages that are sent to students about expectations about what is important to succeed with each teacher and across the school. Hidden curriculum can be detected through examining the meaning behind the rules of the classroom, the school, noting what is celebrated, what is deemed to be important, and what is rewarded, punished, or ignored. If neatness, speaking one at a time, or as someone is open up to divergent student talking, messages are made clear about what is important for students to do and not to do. Standards drive the focus for learning outcomes. These learning outcomes then drive instruction and assessment. There are 3 sources of standards. 1. Those published by professional associations such as National Council of Teachers of English and National Council of Teachers of Math. 2. Those that develop within each state and available through each state's Department of Education website. And 3. Common Core standards for English, language arts, and math, developed by the consortium of professional groups and adopted by many states. An important indicator of which elements of curriculum are seen as most important is what is actually tested. Teachers and their students must be knowledgeable about what is to be tested. Understanding what is on the high-stake test is important for at least two reasons. 1. Your students will be highly motivated to learn what will be tested. 2. You will quickly discover for what your grade level or subject some critical topics are not covered on the high-stakes test. One of the primary sources of information about curriculum is the commercially published textbook. Textbook packages provide the bulk of content, lessons, objectives, audio-visual resources, as well as student assignments. They come with teacher instructional guides that provide the teacher with additional background about the subject information, some lesson plans, suggestions for extensions, and special assignments and test items. Some supported materials might include a syllabi and curriculum guides for each subject area and grade level taught. Syllabi and curriculum guides draw the connection between what is to be taught at each grade level and the expectations for student learning in state and district standards. They give a vertical view of how the subject is to be covered from grade level to grade level. District and state curriculum guides are very useful for teachers as they plan daily lessons, especially when the information is provided about the specific benchmarks for student learning. Curriculum framework is developed to provide a cohesive structure that encompasses the knowledge and skills standards and assessments. For example, the Pennsylvania Curriculum Framework specifies what is to be taught for each subject in the curriculum, and it includes big ideas, concepts, competencies, and essential questions aligned to its standards and assessments. Some districts simply provide a set of core standards and grade level benchmarks for learning organized by grade level. Some also include specific lessons and teaching materials. Others are provided a curriculum package that includes progress guides, related lessons to be taught each day, the corresponding lesson in the students' and teachers' books, and the focus objectives from the state curriculum. State's role is establishing what students are expected to learn and determining if students are meeting learning goals. The state establishes a statewide committee comprised of teachers, school admin, higher education, faculty, and state policy makers. Standard committees with similar composition are established for each content area. Each committee reviews the national curriculum standards for its own content area. Curriculum varies from state to state in the extent of the state level involvement in selecting curriculum materials. The main area of involvement is in selecting textbooks. An open adoption policy permits local school districts to select curriculum materials and textbooks based on their own specific needs. And a state adoption policy requires school districts to purchase curriculum materials and textbooks based on the list approved by the state. Districts select the textbooks and related curriculum materials to be purchased and used within the district. The curriculum committee is established that includes teachers, principals, parents, and perhaps higher education faculty. This committee reviews the current status of the subject area and includes how well students are doing on tests. Some districts also employ a number of professional specialists whose responsibility is to see that each curriculum area is supported and that the teachers are prepared to teach the chosen curriculum. It is still up to each school and teacher to bring the curriculum alive in each and every classroom. Each teacher must do her or his part by being informed about the state standards and the benchmarks. Teachers will use materials and strategies that will help all students learn. In larger districts, teachers for one subject are organized as departments, which makes it easy to seek ideas from colleagues who know the content. Teachers and admin regularly examine results are important. By doing so, they can determine trends, concerns of what aspects of curriculum are working and what aspects are not working. Reflective practices could be regularly examining student performances on tests and classroom assessments, meet with other teachers in your grade level or subject area, provide summaries of your meetings to your principal, actively participate in setting school improvement goals each year.